Hey, 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 what's happening, guys? What's going on YouTube? Thank you guys for joining me. You have tuned into Rules for Rebels. Today we're going to be talking about hybrid e-commerce stores. What a hybrid e-commerce store is, or hybrid drop shipping, is when you self-fulfill some of your items and you drop ship other items. So just for example, let's say maybe right now you're selling backpacks on Amazon and you don't have your own Shopify store. And you actually have these backpacks in your possession. Maybe they're in your back bedroom or your closet or whatever. And when somebody orders a backpack, you physically go pack up the backpack and ship it out to them. Well, maybe you're looking to expand to, say, a Shopify store, and you don't just want to have one product on there. You don't just want to have backpacks. You want to add some other items. Maybe you want to add shirts, hats, something else, but you're not sure if these other items will sell, or maybe you just don't have room or don't have the money to purchase inventory and stock the other items. So you're going to continue self-fulfilling the backpacks that you have, but you want to add some other items, and the other items are going to be drop shipped. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. We're going to be talking about hybrid drop shipping, kind of how to best pull this off and provide the best customer experience. Before we get into this, I wanted to thank today's sponsor, Shopify. Today's video is brought to you by Shopify. Link in the description box below. Get yourself a free 14-day trial to try to throw a store together, start playing around with it. Shopify makes it super easy and streamlined to create a clean-looking, well-functioning website. Even my grandma could do it. Actually, I take that back. My grandma probably couldn't do it. She calls me sometimes to ask me how to turn on her computer. But if you know anything about computers, if you know how to send an email, you can easily set up yourself a nice Shopify store. Kind of a funny story about how easy that is. A buddy of mine reached out to me today. He's looking to hire somebody to build a Shopify store, and he was asking me if I knew any good Shopify store makers on, Upwork, Fiverr, etc. And I told him, I said, look, man, I said, honestly, the quality of work you get on these platforms is often spotty. A lot of the sellers, are from outside of the U.S., so English isn't their first language. I said, I think it's going to be more work for you to try to kind of put your idea and your concept into writing and communicate this to somebody else and deal with all the back and forth. I said, I think it's going to be more work to do that than if you just built the store yourself. So I may help him kind of throw that together. But moving on, let's get into today's video. Let's talk about these hybrid drop shipping stores. And again, hybrid drop shipping stores or hybrid Shopify stores, it's going to be where you have self-fulfill and you have drop ship. Kind of like for any weed smokers out there, if you get yourself a hybrid strain of marijuana, what is it? It's half indica, it's half sativa, half and half. That's exactly what hybrid drop shipping or a hybrid Shopify store is. Today's question comes from Steven, who runs a boutique apparel store. And Steven goes on to say, can you mix drop shipping? He says, I have physical inventory that I'm able to send out. However, I'm looking to add more products and drop ship them. I want it to be a smooth transition, whereas if a customer buys a shirt I physically have and a necklace that I don't, they will have 1 day before they get the other, and it seems strange, and I might scare them off from buying again. Have you done this before? Do you have any advice? Thank you. So thanks, Stephen, for the question. This topic of hybrid drop shipping is one that I've kind of touched on before and talked about before, but I thought this was a great question, and I'm seeing more and more people do this. So I'll give you an example. About 10 years ago, I first started doing this, and how it actually started, I was making beanbag toss games or cornhole games. The games that you play at a backyard barbecue. You got the boards and you toss the beanbags and try to get them on the board or in the hole. I was selling those games. So I made the boards myself. I also taught myself how to sew. I'd go to Joann Fabrics and get duck cloth. I'd go to Farm and Fleet and buy like whole corn animal feed, and I'd sew the bags myself and everything. And at first I was doing this locally on Craigslist. Then I wound up setting up a website. And sales were good. It was a good business, but I quickly realized, like, beanbag toss games, it's not an item that you're going to buy all the time, and it's not an item that really has a lot of accessories. So most of my customers, you may come and buy a beanbag toss game from me, cool. Maybe once a year you have to come buy another set of bags from me. Sometimes the bags bust open, sometimes you leave them in the garage or leave them in the backyard, and squirrels or mice come and eat the corn out of them. So I might get another sale on a replacement set of bags, but for the most part, people buy a set, and they're probably not going to need one for a couple years, if ever again. So I was looking for ways to kind of add more lifetime customer value to my customers, right? If they buy a beanbag game, I started thinking about what other items could I sell them. So around that time, a lot of other games were coming out. I don't know if you guys remember the washers game. There's kind of like a square box, and you try to toss washers into it. Very similar to the beanbag toss game, but a little bit of a different spin on it. There was also another game that became popular called Ladders. And ladders, there's kind of like a PVC pipe ladder, two of them. And you have two, I think it's golf balls connected by a string, and you kind of fling these golf balls connected by the string and try to get them to wrap around the ladder. And then you have one of my favorite games is that Frisbee game where there's kind of two posts, you set a beer on top, and you throw Frisbees and try to knock the beer off the other person's post. So anyhow, these kinds of like outdoor type of tailgate games were becoming popular. Well, I used to make the beanbag toss games, but I didn't really know how to make the washers or the ladders games, and I didn't really have any desire to learn how to. I also didn't want to have to buy them from somebody else and stock them because I didn't know how well they would sell. So what I did, I found people who would drop ship these items for me, and not only those items, but I started thinking like, what other items might somebody who buys a beanbag toss game buy? And I found this kind of really neat device that was manufactured by a company in the U.S. And what it was, it clipped into the hitch on your car, and it was a barbecue grill, right? So the same way that people might put a bike rack into the hitch on the back of their car, this was the same concept, except it was a barbecue grill. So, if I'm going to a Bears game to go tailgate before the game, and I'm going to bring my cornhole toss games, and maybe I want to bring this barbecue grill that clips into the back of the car so you don't have to store it in the car and you're not getting ashes all over your car. It's all outside. So these are some of the items I picked, and I added these items onto my site, and they didn't sell a ton, but if they sold it all, it was one more item I could make a few bucks on. So I would self-fulfill the beanbag games. Anybody who bought ladders, washers, the Frisbee game, or this barbecue grilling device, I would drop ship it to them. So, I'd been kind of messing around with that for a while. What's made this even more prevalent is, the advent of print on demand. So let's say I sell, I don't know, paddleboard pumps, electric paddleboard pumps. It's great, but do I really want a store that has one item that only sells paddleboard pumps? Nothing wrong with that, but maybe I want to add a few more products to my store. So maybe I set up a Printful integration on my Shopify store that's selling these electric paddleboard pumps. And I start making like a line of paddleboard shirts, and maybe I do, I don't know, stretchy pants, hats, whatever else. I don't know if it's Printful or another print-on-demand site. Another one offers flip-flops, but maybe I try to find some more kind of beachy type items, and I want to add those to my store. The biggest challenge you're going to face with really any type of drop shipping, if you're using multiple suppliers, or in the case of a hybrid store, is obviously if you're drop shipping something, you're self-fulfilling something, they're not going to come in the same package, right? Like if with my example, if somebody ordered a beanbag toss game from me, and they ordered this tailgating barbecue device, there's no way for the things to arrive together. So I would ship out the beanbag toss game, the manufacturer would ship out this barbecue grill, and they'd arrive separately, but they'd normally arrive within a day, maybe 3 days, most of each other. So it wasn't a big problem. So, Stephen, the one piece of advice I would give you, if you're self-fulfilling your t-shirts and you want to add necklaces or some other type of product to your store, and really for anybody else who's looking to do this, I would make sure your drop shipper is able to deliver items in a timely manner. So what I mean by that is don't have a t-shirt delivered in 3 days and then order a necklace from AliExpress that's going to take 3 weeks or 5 weeks to get to the customer, because it's just way too big of a gap of time, right? But if the items arrive within a day, 3 days of each other, to me, it's not ideal. But I don't think it's going to be a huge issue. So my one piece of advice would be, whatever dropship supplier you find, make sure they're domestic, make sure they're in the USA, make sure they ship, in 24 to maybe 48 hours, 72 hours at the absolute max. You're going to want to make sure that item is delivered definitely within less than 7 days. And that way, your t-shirt's going to show up in a couple days, and the necklace, or if you want to do a wallet or a money clip or whatever else, that's going to follow a couple days behind. One other piece of advice I'd give you, I think it really depends on what types of items you're selling, but like something like a necklace or a bracelet, a lot of times these items are really, really cheap and can be ordered in very, very small quantities. So let's just say, for example, you want to sell some kind of, puka shell necklace along with your t-shirts. If puka shell necklaces cost $1.25, don't drop ship something like that. I mean, just go ahead and order yourself 20 puka shell necklaces. It'll cost you, $22.50 or something like that. And to me, I think it provides a much better buying experience. And even if they never sell, so what? You're out $20. It's not a huge deal. On the flip side of these necklaces, you're thinking about selling cost, $20, well, then I can totally understand you not wanting to buy in stock inventory. So, that's just kind of one more thing to keep in mind. If these are really, really cheap items, just bite the bullet, buy this stuff, and self-fulfill everything. But if it's something that's a little bit more expensive, and you either don't have the money or don't want to take the risk of buying these items and not having them sell, totally understand it. Just do your drop shipping thing. Like I kind of alluded to, I think print on demand has allowed pretty much every business to add a drop shipping element to their store. So again, just for example, maybe I sell, fishing rods or, fishing accessories, tackle boxes, things like that. There's really no reason not to, sign up for a Printful account. Hire a graphic designer if you can't make the designs yourself. Make some funny fishing shirts, or if your Shopify store that sells fishing goods is called Uncle Bill's Tackle Box. Make some T-shirts that say Uncle Bill's Tackle Box. It's just one more. It kind of fills out your store if you don't have a ton of products, and it's one more chance for an upsell. Maybe when somebody buys a tackle box at checkout, you have a product suggestion tool that says, "Hey, would you like a Bill's Tackle Box T-shirt with it? With your order for only another $15, whatever it is." Stuff like that can work really, really well. But that's really all I got. I'd love to hear from you guys. I always like to get the audience involved. So if those of you guys listening or watching, if you've run a hybrid drop shipping / self-fulfillment store, go ahead and drop a comment with any advice, any tips that you have for Steven. Or just if you guys have any other insights about this, or even if as a customer, would it bother you to get items separately? And if so, what's the most amount of time you would wait between the first item arriving and the second item arriving to where you'd start getting concerned or where it'd really bother you. So again, that's all I really got for you guys today. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If so, give the video a thumbs up. If you're not subscribed, go ahead and smash that subscribe button below, and I'll catch you guys on the next video.